Hey guys, welcome back. Carter BitsBeTrippin. We're gonna have a quick one for you. So this is the kind of noob series here with Ray going through the setup. You guys have seen already the first part four, or the first four videos, and this is gonna start part five. We're gonna crunch this down into a little smaller format. We're talking simple mining today, OS, and it's just this one today. It's just the download of it, and then we'll record the the setup of that in a separate video. So I'm just going to have where to go, what do you need. This is for, I want everybody that is not running at least Simple Mining to try this out. So they give you free for 30 days the ability to try this out. So if you're using Windows, you can use it on a desktop computer too. So you can have it as a separate boot device, and we'll walk through that as part of this next video. We'll do it like on the laptop. So we'll have the laptop boot up, Simple Mining. We'll see if it can actually configure itself to this laptop, and then what do we need to do and change and config. But I want an ability for people, because a lot of people don't understand, you can actually just put this into your gaming rig and then just boot it up separately. So if you like shut down your computer, you don't have to boot up your Windows computer. You can actually just hit like F2, set your boot to go off the USB drive that we set in. And then like if you're going to sleep at night, you can just run Simple Mining at night and then come back to like use the computer, shut it down, pull the drive out, and then run Windows. And that way you're not having to mix mining with your gaming PC. So let's get into the download. Today's video sponsor, actually, we'll just use Simple Mining today. So Simple Mining did provide me with a referral link that actually helps our channel out from regarding Simple Mining, because we use Simple Mining too here, and it's just extra credit for our Simple Mining test bed. And if you guys like this video, make sure you're sharing it, subscribe, all of those fun things. So let's get into what do you do when you are downloading Simple Mining. All right, so let's switch over to the screen. So again, let's say you're new to all of this and you're like, I want to learn mining. I want to learn how to do this. I want it to not mess with my personal computer. I may have personal stuff on there and I don't want to mess with it. So how would I go about setting this up? So you navigate yourself to simplemining.net. You can go out there and register. And essentially you would just you can see that it automatically pulled one of my email addresses, and I've already set up something here, but you would go through and set that account up. You give it an email address, give it a password, and then it's going to go and ask you to verify that account like any new account that you would set up. You have to click the verification. But once you're able to log into that, we're going to go over to our BBT tester email. We're going to hit I am not a robot, and we're going to log into that one, and you'll see I have one rig in there. So once you're logged in, you won't see a machine here. We'll have you guys go through that setup on the next video. But to get in here, this is just the online interface. So this is the account side of what you're going to see your rig when you first log in, and this will be empty. There won't be a rig there. But you're like, okay, cool. I got an account. I can see the dashboard. I'm on this website. Now what do I do? Well, you're going to want to download and install. And when you get to this, it's going to give you a couple different options here. So at the very top, you have Simple Mining OS, and it shows you all the different GPUs that are available on that one, download. And then if you're doing the 3060s here, it has kind of its own special image because there had to be some config that it had to do with that. And then there's a beta image which has the 6600 XT in support. We're going to go ahead and download that one because we'll do a test with that. And that's going to take you out to Mega Download, and you will hit download here. And then let that thing start transferring it down. I would not store files from Mega in that way. I would just hit block and just let it download. So what that was is you'll get a pop-up from Mega saying, hey, we want to use your computer and your resources to put other files on your computer, and we'll use your bandwidth. Don't do that. That's just not good. Like, let them do the storage thing without you. So if you want to donate to Mega, you can always do a pricing and set up an account and pay for it, and that's fine. Some folks will do that. I'm just going to use their quick download because that's what Simple Mining chose to use as their hosting service. So we'll just let that download. So once this downloads, this is an image file, and that image file is essentially the whole OS. So this is the whole operating system in a single file. It's about 800 megabytes here, and we will put that on a USB stick. So we'll put that USB stick into this laptop, and then we'll use a piece of software that will point to that. It's called Etcher, and it is just this thing that reads these files and writes them to a new device. And it's going to read this image file and expand it onto that USB drive as it's a fresh new OS. And so the first part is this image file, which is downloading, and then we'll download Etcher, and then we'll grab a USB stick to allow this thing to write to. So now that is completed, and it's down here in the bottom left on the computer, and we're going to hit back. We go back to Simple Mining, and we're going to download right down here where it says install and flash image here. So the thing I skipped over here is just like to set up your motherboard. If you're going to do multiple graphics cards on a motherboard, there's some settings that you'll want to take note of. The main one that you really need to focus on is enabling 4G encoding for if you're putting lots of GPUs on a single motherboard. It just expands the resources of the motherboard to be able to have multiple GPUs on a motherboard, essentially. But this computer, when we do the test with just like a gaming computer first, it doesn't need that 4G decoding thing. You just got to remember 4G decoding is more than one GPU, like lots of GPUs.
So it'd be like mining rig.
Like a normal mining rig, correct? Yep. So Etcher is this piece of software, which we'll download. I probably already have this on this laptop, but for this purpose, we'll still just download it. And this is the software that reads that image file that we're gonna use. And then I'm gonna grab a USB stick.
But he is grabbing a USB stick.
So we'll put this in here and make sure that's good to go. And see, this one had Hive on it because I saw it pop up saying Hive drive. And what I like to do is I'm going to hit close on this. This one already had some stuff on here. If you have this is actually a good test. So like if you have a USB drive and it's not empty, you can actually go to CMD, which is the command prompt, right click and run that as an administrator. And you could go to here, this is like the DOS interface, and you could go into something called disk part, enter. And then you can go, now you're in the program called disk part. And what this is disk partition. So it's allowing us to edit what that drive is. So we can go in and go list space disk. And it shows that there's 2 disks in here. There's the one that's on this computer, and then that other one right there, that's the 14 gigabyte one. So we're going to select disk 1, and we're going to say clean. What that does is it wipes out all of the details of this disk. Like it just like cleans the USB drive to be a freshly new USB drive. And what I do is I just close this out, and then we can right click on Windows here button, and we can go into disk management now, and you'll see that this is like unallocated. So now this has been like all the details of it's been wiped out. So you can right click on that and go new simple volume, next. Just take all the defaults on it. And then that'll format that drive as a new drive. And the reason why I showed people that is sometimes like you try to format the drive when it's already partitioned and then it just doesn't work right. It's best to just clear out everything and make it like it's a fresh new drive, like you just bought it. That's what that clean does in disk part. And then this allows us to format it to be like a fresh new disk. And now this is like an empty, 16 gig USB drive. So then we'll load up that etcher. We'll hit I agree. Install. So now it comes up and it says flash from file. So the left side of this is the input. Like it's what are we doing? So we're going to say flash from file here. And we're going to choose this very first one, which is what we just downloaded, right? 8/16 is the date on it. And then it's automatically selecting the USB drive because it knows that's the only one in there. And I would say to people, like, if you're doing this, make sure the drive that is selected is the one that you want to format, because this is a thing that will, if you had like an external USB drive,
Yeah.
it could accidentally choose that. And like, let's say it was like your picture to your cloud store, and then you accidentally just formatted that. That's a bad thing. So always check this middle one right here, and then you hit flash, and then this will go through. You have to hit yes to this. And then now this drive will get its data written to it. And then after that, you are effectively good to go. The only thing that'll pop up after this is you'll have a text file that will have to, you guys will see it here in shortly, that will make you put your account that you registered on Simple Mining with. So whatever email you're using, in this case, we use bbttester2021@gmail.com. That is our account. So this is how this drive knows, wherever it's plugged into, how to get to that dashboard we were just seeing. So we have to put that email on there. So when we plug this in any computer, it's going to be able to communicate with that dashboard.
All right. Yeah.
So, so then now this will take a little bit, and the power of editing, you guys will get right back to the end of it, and we'll finish that part up. All right, guys, we're back. Power of the editing. Let's just see what happened right after it got done loaded. So the first thing that's going to pop up is it's going to give you a like asking you to reformat the drive. And the reason why it's doing that is because Windows cannot read part of that partition, which is the actual OS drive. But it partitions it into two different drives. It partitions it into the Linux drive, and then it has a little drive that is where the text file that you can denote where this drive needs to, point to when it's loaded up, right? So you'll hit cancel there, cancel, you'll get it a couple times. And then what I usually do is just go right into, I'll pull that out and then put that back in. It'll come up and give you that kind of disk error issue again. Hit cancel on that, and then click this little one that pops up there where it says Simple Mining Config. You can open that to explore. And then there's just a config.txt. So you'll go in there, and this is where it just allows you to kind of set up the configuration. So you can, if you had this on like Wi-Fi, you would give it like what Wi-Fi network it is, and then you could put the password for that Wi-Fi network. If you need to use Wi-Fi, I get it. Some people have to use Wi-Fi because they just don't have like networking in some areas. I've always had an issue with putting the Wi-Fi password inside of a plain text file, right? So then somebody could get to it. But if I would suggest, if you're going to use Wi-Fi for your network like this, make sure in your router you're setting up like a guest network, which then segments your local network from your internal network. So like you could put like my Wi-Fi guest, and then you'd have a guest password, and then you could use that side of it, because all this thing needs is internet. It doesn't need any kind of special resources to your network. So I would recommend that if you're going to use Wi-Fi there. Otherwise, you will just change this one part up here, which is the email that you set up on the account. In this case, we're just using the bbttester2021@gmail.com. That's a test account we have set up for BBT, and we save it. Now that writes that to that drive, and this thing is good to go. So we could actually shut this down, this machine down, and what we're going to do is we're going to restart. Of course, Windows needs an update, and we will pick this video up on the next one with you guys on what happens next on this. We'll do this laptop tomorrow quickly for you guys. Let's switch this over on what it looks like on this laptop for having Simple Mining, if it actually runs. I don't know if it'll run. We'll see that. Otherwise, we'll test this in just a mining rig. with this being a new laptop, and Simple Mining may say, yeah, I can work with what I got there, and then find the RTX card. But we'll give that a test. Otherwise, this drive will go into one of the other mining rigs that we have here with the 6600, because that was actually what this one was set up for.
Yeah.
But it's the full beta image, which may have also support for the RTX card. We'll check that. But stay tuned for tomorrow's episode where we will use this and configure it. So you'll see the dashboard stuff. Ray, I'll get pulled into trying to do some of this stuff. And we'll do the dashboard config and then configure everything in Simple Mining. You'll see how quick it is. So awesome, my dudes. So be sure to like, subscribe, share this content. This is for you guys. This is for obviously helping Ray here, getting it. But this is for if you're new and you want to, or if you're just a veteran and you're like, you know what, I want to help my friends out. I want them to mine, but there's a lot of things to explain. That's what this series is for. So appreciate the share, guys, and I will catch you guys on the next one.